Keep it bouncing. Keep it bouncing. Keep it bouncing.
Is my swagger right? Check. Fit nice? Check. Kicks tight? Check. Yes. Now watch your boy bounce. Make sure that I rip mics. Check. Spit right? Check. Write my check. And make sure that it don't bounce. What do you know about chilling on the boat on the coast, finna coast out? Charm so heavy in the shirt that it poke out. Ferrari or the Lamb, hey fam, bring them both out. I don't like the Pirelli, so bring the spokes out. You don't find my album in stores because it's sold out. I don't know spit about it, but so many other cats will live that lie cause they spit about it, but you don't live about it. This young man bout business, and if you ain't bout that fam, then get about it. See, you ain't putting in work, I'm on my 25th hour in the studio, I'm trying to bring it in about it.
Good evening, folks. It's WRFU up here, Urbana 104.5 FM. Another special broadcast and conversation we're going to have on the air. I always talk about different things. People always ask me what the show is about. My immediate retort is I have no freaking clue. You should just tune in and find out whatever it is you grab. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you appreciate it. And if not, so be it, man. We appreciate it. Send us some feedback and criticism by emailing wrfu@comcast.net, wrfu@comcast.net. Outside of that, you might hear some live music, some live performances, some live conversation, but different scholars always converging here on the microphone. Just trying to have a good time. You okay? We need to get a team for you? Let's do a quick mic check and see who's here with us here, dying on the microphone on the other side in front of me. Tell them who you are, where you're coming from.
Hi, my name is Christina Briones. I am a senior in psychology, and I'm a frequent user of La Casa Cultural Latina. So.
Hey, my name is Cynthia. I am also a junior frequent user of La Casa, and I'm also a member of Micha.
There you go. So we're going to have a conversation today about a situation that's been, as I was kind of alluding to, bubbling, ruminating in the backdrop. People weren't aware of until probably the past 2 weeks, I would say, at least on the whole, not the selected few. So why are you guys here? What are we talking about? A decision that's being put before La Casa. What's going on? Tell me. Tell the folks out there who are listening to it, and what is this all about?
Well, about, I'd say a week before spring break, we were speaking with a couple of the staff members from La Casa, and they informed us that the director and other professional staff from La Casa said that La Casa is in danger, basically. There was this master plan that the university has proposed for 2012, and apparently none of the culture houses nor the resource centers are on this master plan. And the reason they were bringing it up as the staff meeting was to kind of solicit help in order to assess the needs of the students and find out what they wanted.
Right.
Exactly.
Always assessing the needs, giving us just what we want, like always, yes.
And when they kind of, asked for some further details, like how long exactly we had, they said till May, which we realized was only a month away. And we were kind of really surprised that this kind of information had taken so long to get to us, and that we only had a month to decide what to do. So that's when a couple staff members...
30 days is enough time for you to decide the future of La Casa?
La Casa, a couple other ethnics, yeah. So a couple of the students from La Casa kind of got together, and we decided to hold some meetings at La Casa and invite, initially it was just Latino students to talk about what they felt. And then we realized it was really imperative to incorporate other people from the other cultural houses and the other resource centers, including the LGBT Resource Center and the Women's Resource Center. And yes, and then we actually held a meeting on Monday, and well, that's pretty much how it all happened.
So basically when you said La Casa is in jeopardy, can you give some folks a little more, can you be more explicit in that? I mean, you've mentioned the master plan, master, trying to be the master of it. So you mentioned the master plan, which is trying to put La Casa onto, but what does that mean? What does that entail?
So basically, the initial details we were given was that chemistry needs to expand. Chemistry the chemistry department has been given a grant to build a new building, and their new location for this building was the North Block of Nevada, which is currently where the Asian American Cultural House, the Native American Cultural House, and the African American Cultural House are located. So they're going to expand, and they needed to find out where to put the rest of these cultural houses, right? If they're gonna leave there, where were they gonna put them? And the reason we needed to be on board with this was because the only proposal that was given to us was this all-inclusive, like, multicultural space, right? So Was that your question? What else did you ask?
So basically, and if this master plan basically tells them that if they want to get on it and have a say-so, I guess, in terms of how they're going to be positioned in the future, because they have to leave that space, or is that what's being put before them?
Yeah, basically, like we talked about this master plan, right, and how all the centers are non-existent, but the chemistry building is existent in this specific location. So, yeah, they have to figure out something to do. Like, they have basically no choice, according to the university, according to mainly the staff at the different cultural centers, which is where all our information was filtered through. And currently now, OIR staff, apart from them, like Ana Gonzalez and...
Ana Gonzalez, my favorite lady. For folks out there that don't know, in terms of the cultural centers, apparently it's been stated to them, like, for example, there's a master plan that the university produces every year. The Board of Trustees basically has a conversation of what they want the university to look like in 5 or 10 years. And so the master plan basically decides where all the major construction is going to take place, all the new buildings are going to be located to or moved on. And so now, because they're running out of space of expanding outward, now they have to basically build upward. And so this construction plan, in essence, will provide, I guess, the much-needed new chemistry building and the much unneeded cultural centers, I guess, from their vantage point. So the option for La Casa, what? What are the options for La Casa? Exactly.
As of now, we've been giving a couple of options, really only one option. What's been said and what's been kind of presented to us as an ultimatum is that we have to look for a new space, and what this new space will look like is a multi-use facility located on the south side of Nevada Street. It would be a multi-use facility, and what I mean by a multi-use facility is that not only would La Casa be incorporated into the space, but the rest of the cultural centers, the resource centers, and the ethnic studies departments, as well as OIR. So what we've essentially been given is an option to consolidate our spaces in hopes of getting this project on the master plan.
So chemistry now has the right to the land, apparently, from the Board of Trustees perspective or from whomever, and yet students are kind of galvanized now, coming together to discuss these options. I mean, what are you guys thinking? What's been the feedback you've from folks?
Well, we've been organizing meetings around this issue. We really want student input because we feel that students really have been leading this movement, not only recently, but really since the 1960s and 1970s, since these cultural centers were first established on campus. We've really been working hard to sort of build this coalition of students, not only that use the cultural centers, but the resource centers, and really anybody that's really interested in this issue, because not only do the cultural centers benefit students of color, women, LGBTQ members, but really the university as a whole. So we've been getting a lot of support from different students who feel the same way as we do about this, being suspicious about having the university hand us a building that is intended for multi-use, right? So we've been getting a lot of support from different students, but we've also been met with resistance from others. So it's been kind of a struggle.
It's interesting that you say multi-use. What does that mean? How many people will actually be housed in this facility?
Well, according to Facilities and Services, who came up with this plan, this
master
new option,
plan,
right? They have developed an idea for 6 of the cultural centers / resource centers. So that's 6 plus the ethnic studies departments and OIR, making it a total of 13 to 14 campus units in one shared space.
And how big theoretically is the space they're proposing right now?
We've been told that if we decide to move into the location south of Nevada Street, that we've been promised, and I say promised very skeptically, between 80 to 120,000 square feet.
That's a large number. What I mean, in terms of, I've seen the blueprint from someone who brought it to a meeting, which is Carlos, that brought it there, and he sketched it out. And basically, in terms of dimensions, it appeared to be that only 6 equivalents of La Casa could physically fit within the space, and that's not. I know I've heard some suggestions that there would be atriums connecting everything, so it wouldn't be as if the whole space would be usable per se. Like, it's not a big wide building that encompasses that. So, you said some people are meeting you with resistance. What are they saying?
Well, there's some mixed messages about really what we're trying to do. The students who are
what do you mean mixed messages? Who's giving mixed messages? You are giving mixed messages?
We are not giving mixed messages. There's talk, different centers, there's talk amongst the professional staff at the different centers who are for the unit, that are kind of sort of pitting us against the resource centers that currently do not have a permanent space. Well, technically nobody has a permanent space because that's kind of what the university is telling us at this moment, that we're all sort of movable entities. But we've been getting some mixed messages, like I said. Our other students have been getting mixed messages in terms of what we're trying to do.
Such as, what are they being told? Give them an example.
Basically that because that we're being selfish and that we want our own spaces, and that we're not thinking about, for example, the Women's Resource Center and the LGBTQ Center that currently do not have a permanent space on campus, or who are renting from the union and have a smaller space than we currently do. But that's really not what we're trying to do when we advocate, when we say that we want permanent freestanding autonomous spaces. We are very inclusive of everybody, including the Women's Resource Center, LGBTQ Center, because many of La Casa users also use those centers. So we are all for getting their space. We know that there's space available for the Women's Resource Center and the LGBT Center to get their own freestanding autonomous centers. And that's kind of the message that we are here to kind of...
Okay, so you have this feedback or pushback from some of the people because of this misinformation is being provided by various. We'll leave them unnamed. Do you want to name them? Do you want to name them? Oh, look at you! You don't want to call them out, man. Call them out. So you have these people now, and so people are galvanized now. What is the plan? I mean, what are students going to take this? I mean, do you think it's reasonable that you were given this timeline? Are you guys satisfied with the way that the conversations have been going?
Well, we really feel disrespected in many ways. We feel like it's really irresponsible for the administration, for whoever is behind this plan, for the Diversity Initiatives Committee. We know that the plan for a multicultural center has been in the works for many years now, and when it was first introduced, I believe in 2007, there was a lot of backlash from the student population against a multicultural center. So the plan has sort of shifted now to a multi-use facility where we're being promised our own autonomous centers. However, we're not happy. We're not pleased. We've been asking for better facilities for years, and now that chemistry and life sciences has sort of thrown money, shown us their pockets, and shown us that they have the power to move in on our spaces, we feel like we're being treated like second-class citizens, and it's something that we're definitely not going to take sitting down.
Let me ask you this. There were some people who are not going to be moved, who are residing in that space, such as a sorority, I believe, which is at the corner of Goodwin and Oregon. They are not movable, is that correct?
Correct. When we had a meeting with one of the representatives from Facilities and Services, he did mention that the only properties on Nevada Street that are currently quote-unquote safe are the sorority houses and the Channing Murray Foundation, because those are considered private property. When asked why the university doesn't buy out those properties as well, we were told that those are considered integral parts of the university. So those would not.
Who told you this?
A representative from Facilities and Services.
Oh, okay. That's a kind of astonishing, I think, for them to have the gall to say that and to say these other units are not, integral components in terms of usage. There has to be more students that utilize these campus units than even a sorority house, I would think, because there's a fixed number of individuals that can reside there. So you guys are meeting now. When is the next deadline or timeline for something that actionable items that they're going to transpire?
Well, apparently they were supposed to use all of the cultural centers and the resource centers, and now currently other staff from the OIR use the remainder of this month and, continue with their assessments of what the students want. And by late April, they're supposed to give their initial proposal to FNS, Facilities and Services, and then they're supposed to forward that on to the Chancellor's Capital Review Committee. And then between May and June, they're going to review the proposal and create a list for this 2012 project. So we basically have until May to get something going, because if not, the proposal that they have on the table is going to go right on through. So,
I wish that their history of ignorance and incompetence we could rely on to delay that date. Because for some reason, when it comes to, for them being accountable to marginalized populations, they take a real long time. But for some reason, when it comes to screwing them over, they're very quick and swift. So for some reason, I think that May deadline may be a real one, which needs to be met. So what's the plan of attack?
Well,
I mean, obviously the staff of these respective units are, having their assessments, their superficial meetings where, very few people attend and, nobody says anything. There's probably two voices or many voices represented there. So what is the plan of attack?
Really quick, I wanted to add something as far as funding goes. Mm-hmm. And I know we talk about how they move quickly to screw over, but we feel that something to be afraid of is when they're going to drag and trying to find this funding, right? They have proposed that it's either going to come from states, from the alumni, from a student fee, and they also said, from private donors. And just historically looking at the way that student fees pass, they don't. They don't pass. And I don't know if you saw the article in the DI. There was a comment made by a student or whoever it might be, and it just went on into how the cultural centers just should be completely erased and how, they've just been a waste of money. And there's that real fear that if students aren't in favor of the cultural centers, and besides those who use them, what are the chances of a student fee ever being passed, right? But going on to the plan of attack, so yeah, that's something we're afraid of as far as funding goes. And also as far as alumni goes, there have been initiatives to bring in alumni, explain to them what the new plan is in order to do the all-inclusive space. And once again, alumni responses have also been little. So
in terms of our, I'd like to call it our counter plan rather than our plan of attack. But what we've been...
Counter offer, perhaps.
Yes. What we've been doing is attending the meetings actually hosted by OIIR in the different cultural centers so that our voices are documented and heard. As Cristina mentioned, the cultural centers are responsible for assessing their constituencies till the end of April. So we want our voices to be heard. We are attending those meetings. We're raising questions. We're asking all sorts of things, letting them know that we're not happy with this decision. And we're working on offering a counter proposal to the option that they've given us. Because I think one of the misconceptions is that we want to stay where we're at when that's really not the case. As I mentioned before, we've been demanding new facilities, better facilities, renovated spaces for a really long time to meet the changing needs of each student population that uses the cultural center. So we are definitely working on a counter proposal to present to the administration to show them that we know what we want and a multi-use facility is not it.
Talk about the phrase multi-use versus multicultural center, multi-purpose. I almost feel like it's like a gymnasium or something like that. With 13 units there, what is the significance of that term, multi-use versus a multicultural center?
What I've been told is that a multicultural center would be a reduction in staff and would sort of homogenize and erase the differences between the different constituencies. The multi-use facility that they're proposing is going to be a shared space. What they've identified as shared space includes meeting rooms, classrooms. So each, there's two different phases to this multi-use facility. One would be a multi-unit facility, as I had been mentioning, that includes programming space that would be shared by the different centers and the ethnic studies departments. And then a phase two would be a series of brownstones where each center would be able to design their own, specifically something that would feel like home for each of the students. And what we've been told is that it would be connected by an atrium in the middle, and that each unit would have its own separate entrance, so that it feels like you have your own center. So
everybody can come home but not really live together? Is that what through a different door, come into the house through a different door?
Pretty much. Like I said, that's what we've been told, although it doesn't really seem feasible nor practical to have one building with 13 separate entrances, and it doesn't really seem, like I said, logical at all. However, this is what we've been told because of all the backlash that the multicultural center received. So in order to appease our needs, they are providing 12 different doors.
I think 13 doors is ridiculous. 12 would be okay, but 13 is just way too much. So, there's these meetings are taking place. Who is the party or people who are giving this ultimatum? Who are the culprits that are positioning the cultural centers and ethnic studies programs and the Women's Resource Center and the LGBTQ Center? Who are the people who are responsible for putting this decision before?
Well, really, I think that's sort of what we've been asking for a long time. The people that came up with the proposal that drew up the option was Facilities and Services, who claimed that the Diversity Initiatives Committee had requested them for them to do so. We've been getting no one owns up to anything. Like I said, we've been struggling for better facilities. These facilities were not given to us simply because the administration thought, people of color, women, LGBTQ members might need a space for themselves on campus. And so really what we've been told is that the university is now giving us this space, which we're really suspicious about. Right, it's a wonderful opportunity. So, we've been
once in a lifetime opportunity.
Exactly,
right,
once in a lifetime
to get screwed over,
to jump on the master plan. So
get on the bus.
So we really don't know in terms of, like I said, who is the real culprit behind this. We know that we have been met with resistance from different people, different units, so it's really, I feel like, a lot of the universities in on it.
I think I have a very clear way to get to the person in the party responsible for that, which we'll discuss off air. Just remind me that I mentioned that,
right.
Folks out there. My wheels are turning. That's never a good thing for this slow and ignorant university that we have. I swear I could spend every show just something negative I could say about the university, but that's a different program, folks. It's not this program right here. So you're going to propose a different center, a counter proposal. What are some of the major components of that? What are you hoping that will be incorporated that is not currently being included in this current package?
We want autonomous freestanding centers, and what that means is that we do not want a shared consolidated space. Well, one of the things that has been said is that a projected or a wanted goal from this multi-use facility is that there's more coalition built between the cultural centers and the resource centers and ethnic studies departments, which is really faulty logic to place all non-normative people together in one space and hope that they can work together. We've been working together for years, and I think it's really ridiculous that, I want to work more with administration. They're not going to place us in the union, though, so we can build coalitions off that. So one of the things that we're really adamant about is having a freestanding autonomous centers, not only for the cultural centers, for the ethnic studies departments, and for the resource centers that are currently in the union and do not have their own space. Not only that, but we want new renovated spaces. We want wheelchair accessible places. We want green facilities. We want more space. As I currently said, the cultural centers do not meet the needs that we currently have, and so we don't want the old centers with the peeling paint and the inaccessible, entrances.
I thought it had charm.
We want new facilities. We just don't want them all in one space. Exactly.
But it's actually interesting that you mentioned about the possibility of different plans. But it's like, why isn't it possible for? Why isn't it possible for the chemistry facility that they built to have on its first floor or second floor the cultural center? Why isn't it as a component of it? Why does it have to be moved to another location? It's almost for me telling me that marginalized populations don't fit in with chemistry. Just taking it as a superficial, straightforward. Brown people or anybody who's different and non-white just can't. You can't occupy this space. This is where the research is being conducted. All the major questions are being answered. All the important things that the university holds in high regard are going to be located. And these things need to get out the way because this is important.
Exactly. We're disposable. We're movable. You know what I mean? we're temporary, which is what the term that has been used multiple times to describe the centers that we currently have. They're temporary, meaning that we, as a people on this campus, we're temporary, right? We're not permanent. And that's really interesting that you bring that up, because that's one of the points that I was trying to make. What if we want to work more with chemistry? Why are they going to place us in the chemistry building? No, exactly. Like the whole idea behind moving us is the fact that we are movable, that we are not, we don't occupy a permanent space on this campus.
One thing I would definitely be interested to see is if the chemistry department is willing to offer more resources to these cultural centers, whether it's to be sending speakers or to opportunities for youth, perhaps through the different programs that we have. Something that I've requested in the past, but unfortunately was met with a lot of resistance as well. But perhaps this is another opportunity to return to the negotiating table and bargaining table. And I am longing for the end of this week or next week so I can go smash someone's head into a freaking intellectual book to educate them. But who are you bringing your case to? Who are you like now? Is it just the staff of the different respective cultural centers and these units that you're speaking with, dialoguing? Is there someone higher up, for example, in OIIR?
Well, from a meeting that was hosted by OIR last Wednesday, one of the speakers is one of the members of the committee, Dominic Cobb, and that's actually one of the questions that I asked him: who can I take my counter proposal to? If this is the option that is given, and what has been currently said multiple times is, if we don't like it, tell us what you do like. Tell us what you do want. So we have a counter proposal, and I did ask. I asked him to direct me where I can take this counter proposal so that FNS can draw my model, right? What his response was to take our ideas back to the directors of our respective cultural centers. So that's
deflecting responsibility to someone below him. You never want to go downward, folks. For those of you that don't know, Dominic Cobb is above the cultural centers. If you're sending to someone below him, that means it's beneath him, literally, just not as important. Okay, so that's interesting to note. So the diversity committee, have you made any contact with them at all, or have you tried to reach out to them?
Well, like I said, we've attended a couple of the members of the committee, Helen Neville, which is the co-chair, and Dominic Cobb, have attended 2 of the meetings that I have attended. What's interesting, though, is that the other co-chair, who's also is head of facilities and services, has not attended any of these meetings. I'm not sure if that's because he hasn't been invited or he's declined an invitation. But we've been talking to the members of the Diversity Initiatives Committee at these meetings in terms of, where this idea came from, sort of holding them accountable for, this plan that Facilities and Services, was so generous enough to draw up for us, so that we can visually, picture what we sort of represent for the university. So we've had conversations with them in those spaces, but we do plan on having conversations with them outside of those. Just
the diversity. So the head has not shown up. The one who's drawn up the proposal has not shown up to the actual meetings. It's almost kind of counterintuitive. Right.
No, as I mentioned, I'm not sure what the reason for his absence is.
I'm sure he just doesn't want to hear what you have to say. I'm going to speculate on that one and say he thinks he's above the fray, so to speak, and he thinks he can deflect responsibility to other parties. Okay. So moving forward, you're going to keep, I guess, trying to meet with folks, put this proposal, I guess, fully written out. Is it already written out, per se?
It's in the works.
It's in the works. After all the meetings, I know you guys have a lot of notes that you're compiling still.
Right. We're definitely, like I said, really doing something that we feel hasn't been done for us, which is asking each other, the students who pay tuition, who use these centers, who are, really pushing forward for the future of these centers. We're really trying to compile and really take into account the needs of all these different students that occupy these spaces and who are here, because of these spaces.
Okay, folks, so you're basically the product and the consumer as well, so it's ironic. Any thoughts or last words you want to offer to folks on this particular matter, or anything else you want to mention that you think may be left out from the conversation? You just want to stare at me blankly right back.
Sorry. Just that it's really important, if you do not think that you have a personal stake in the cultural centers, to still come out and listen to what's going on, because it's clear we're going to need as many students as possible to help us support this. It is a student-led movement, and it's going to continue to be a student-led movement. We've seen in the past couple of weeks that our own advocates, you know, quote unquote advocates within our own cultural houses, these directors that Dominic Cobb is redirecting us to are not looking for our best interest. They're not interested. Apparently they were they themselves gave opinions for this like new spaces without even asking us what we thought about it. So just come out. We're actually having our next meeting this Monday. I believe at the YMCA again. Either way, a mass email will go out. That's the way we do it, through our different listservs and through our different organizations and whatnot. And to not delete these emails, to pay attention, to come through. We weren't expecting a lot of turnout at our last meeting. We had over 50 interested students there, so that's great. So basically, just keep your ears out, keep reading, keep writing, and help us out. So, yeah.
Cynthia, anything else?
Well, basically, I think Christina pretty much summed it up. That was really nice. However, one of the things that I was just going to say is for those people that, you know, feel like or don't feel like we're making a strong enough case against this multi-use facility, you know, we've been fighting for these centers for a long time, and it's not going to be easy to move us. It's really important for people to realize that we are being treated as second-class citizens at the moment, and that we are we're movable entities for the university. The numbers of Latinos and African American students at the university have been decreasing. Last year alone, incoming freshmen fell under 500 students, and really the message that the university is sending out about the importance of people of color at this institution is that we are, you know, movable, that we're not permanent, that we're temporary, that we can be confined in a space, that we can be consolidated with, you know, all the other student populations, and that really needs to stop, and it will stop. We will put an end to it. So,
there you go. There you go, folks. Urbana 104.5. And just my take on the situation again as a university, like I said, they do so many things poorly. It's just one more thing onto the pile. And really, the issues that we should be talking about are issues like retention, you know, more representation within the faculty, you know, making sure that students are graduating at a higher percentage, being admitted at a higher rate. But instead, we're talking about preserving the cultural centers, because the university can't seem to get just one plan, one consistent message, and one constant mechanism of support for marginalized populations. Any contact information they want to offer them, or just tell folks to holler at you?
You can actually email the three main contact person are myself, Christina Briones, at krystina.b2@gmail.com. And that's it.
So you can come through, contact her, harass her, and get more information about how to get connected. Is WR... Give a shout out. Go ahead and give a shout out.
Okay, Victoria, you've been asking for this all night. Hi, Vicky.
Victoria, okay. What's up, Victoria, who's listening right now? Again, it's WRFU LP Urbana 104.5 FM. This is the show, another conversation, another Friday. Now, I'm going to go back to the music. Going to finish eating my food that my biscuits are downstairs. Hopefully I didn't burn them completely. I think they're all right. Fish don't fry in the chicken. The biscuits don't burn in the grill either. Keep staying tuned with us, WRFU LP 104.5 FM. I am so tired, folks. I think we all tired of I'm not even going to say it, man. We too good for that. Keep staying with us.
My work ethic is appealing for sure. Been nice with mine since they cut the umbilical cord. No comparison, paralysis is filling your board. Overheads, punchlines, stuff the ceiling, of course. Make sure my swagger right, check. Fit nice, check. Kicks tight, check. Yes, now watch your boy bounce. Make sure that I rip mics, check. Spit right, check. Write my check. And make sure that it don't bounce. Got a deep flow that never stop, you damn water. I'm fresh as a shower, I'm out of the damn water. In a suit and tie, confuse the eye with the transporter. Nights with delivery, putting your man's order. And you envy my words when I'm putting them in order. I'm 10 to 20 stacks while you in your man quarters. I'm the same behind as the front of the camcorder.